What if I told you the Earth could not survive without the moon? Sounds crazy, right? The moon looks small and quiet in the night sky, just a pretty circle shining above us, but it does way more than just look nice. Without the moon, everything on Earth would change. Our days would get shorter or longer. The oceans would go wild. The seasons could flip in strange ways. Even life itself might have struggled to survive. The moon is like Earth's invisible helper. It pulls on the oceans. It steadies our planet's tilt. It keeps everything balanced. Without it, Earth would wobble like a spinning top about to fall. The weather, the climate, even the way animals and plants live would be totally different. You might think we don't need it, but really the moon is keeping life alive. Tonight, when you look up and see it glowing, remember this little rock above us is actually a giant superhero. Without it, the world we know wouldn't exist. Imagine waking up one morning and noticing the sun isn't where it usually is. The seasons are off. Winter feels like summer, and summer burns hotter than you've ever known. That's what Earth would be like without the moon. Right now, our planet tilts just enough to give us predictable seasons. That tilt, about 23 degrees, stays fairly stable because of the moon. Without it, the Earth would wobble like a top about to fall, leaning more or less in all directions. Sometimes the tilt could swing drastically. A single year could bring unbearable heat in one region and deadly cold in another. Life wouldn't know how to adjust. Plants rely on steady sunlight patterns to bloom and grow. Animals depend on seasons to migrate, hunt, or breed. Without stability, many species could vanish, never finding their rhythm with the planet. But the tilt is just the start. The moon also affects the way Earth spins. Right now, a day lasts 24 hours, a rhythm that life has grown into over millions of years. Back when the moon first formed, days were only about 6 hours long. The sun would rise and set so quickly it would feel like a constant whirlwind of light and dark. Plants would struggle to photosynthesize properly. Animals would have little time to hunt or rest, and life in general would have to sprint just to keep up. The moon's gravity pulls on Earth gently but steadily, acting like a brake that slows the planet's spin. Every tiny pull over millions of years helps stretch our days to a pace life could actually adapt to. The moon also pulls on the oceans, creating tides. We see tides at the beach, but their effect goes far beyond waves crashing on the shore. Tides move massive amounts of water across the planet. This movement mixes nutrients, spreads oxygen, and keeps ecosystems alive. Without the moon, tides would shrink dramatically, leaving only small changes caused by the sun. Oceans would stagnate, coral reefs could collapse, fish populations would drop, wetlands might vanish. Life in the seas depends on this invisible heartbeat that rises and falls every day thanks to the moon. Even the smallest creatures like crabs digging burrows or baby turtles making their way to the ocean rely on these tides. Now picture the nights. Without the moon, nights would be pitch black. Right now, moonlight illuminates paths for animals. Predators hunt, prey hides, turtles find their way. Without that glow, life would adapt in strange ways or fail to adapt at all. Animals that rely on light cycles could get lost. Owls, wolves, and many other creatures depend on the moon's gentle illumination to move safely and hunt efficiently. Even humans have built our cycles around the moon's light for thousands of years. Its absence would change how life organizes itself entirely, but the moon's role doesn't stop there. Back when Earth was young, it was molten, chaotic, and far too hostile for life. A massive collision with a planet-sized object sent debris into space. Over time, that debris formed the moon. This crash was catastrophic, but it also shaped Earth in ways that made life possible. It cooled the planet just enough to form oceans, giving water a stable place to exist. Without this event, Earth might still be a wild, unstable ball of rock and fire. The moon is in a way born from chaos, and yet it became the ultimate stabilizer for life. Over billions of years, the moon also took on the role of protector. Space is full of asteroids and meteors flying around at incredible speeds. Many of them could strike Earth with deadly force. The moon, being a big target nearby, takes many of the hits that might otherwise hit our planet. Over time, it has saved countless lives by acting as a cosmic shield. Its quiet presence above us is one of the reasons complex life could survive long enough to evolve. Even the Earth's magnetic field, which protects life from harmful solar radiation, depends indirectly on the moon. The spinning of Earth's molten core generates this magnetic field. The moon keeps the planet's spin steady enough to maintain the field. Without it, solar winds could weaken the field, exposing life on the surface to dangerous radiation from the sun. Humans, animals, plants, everything would be at risk without that invisible shield. Think about how life adapted to all these effects over time. Early plants needed steady days to photosynthesize. Animals needed predictable nights to hunt and hide. Seasons needed to be consistent for migration and reproduction. Even ocean life depended on tides moving nutrients and oxygen throughout the water. Every living thing developed with the moon silently influencing Earth's environment. Remove it, and the rhythm of life is thrown into chaos. Imagine the effect on humans if the moon vanished suddenly. Days would shorten, nights would go dark, tides would shrink, and seasons would swing unpredictably. Coastal communities would face vanishing wetlands, fisheries would collapse, and storms might become stronger or more erratic. Agriculture would become a gamble with unpredictable growing conditions. Civilization as we know it relies on the moon. Even if we rarely think about it, even tiny details of the Earth's environment depend on the moon. Its pull on the oceans affects winds, which affect weather patterns. Its steady gravitational influence keeps the tilt consistent, preventing extreme swings in climate over thousands of years. Its presence slows the rotation of the planet, giving life a rhythm it can follow. Its reflection of sunlight lights the night sky, influencing nocturnal behavior in countless species. The moon's influence is everywhere, snorts from the smallest plankton in the ocean to human activity on land. And yet, despite all this, the moon is easy to take for granted. We see it in the sky glowing quietly and think of it as just a decoration. In reality, it is a giant stabilizer, protector, and guide. Without it, Earth would be a wobbly, unpredictable, dangerous place. Life as we know it might never have evolved. The oceans would be stagnant, days too short, nights too dark, seasons too wild. Even small creatures would struggle to survive. The moon is small in size but enormous in impact. Think about the oceans again. Without the moon, tides wouldn't rise and fall like they do now. High tide and low tide create rhythms that life depends on. Tiny plankton float with the currents, spreading food across the oceans. Fish travel with these currents. Crabs dig their burrows where water rises and falls. Coral reefs grow where nutrients are carried by tides. Without tides, these tiny movements stop. Oxygen doesn't reach every corner. Nutrients sit in one place. Some species would die off slowly while others struggle to survive. Even a small loss in nutrients can ripple through the entire food chain, changing life in ways we can't fully imagine. The moon also affects the climate in subtle ways. Its gravitational pull doesn't just move water, it nudges the Earth itself. This helps stabilize winds and weather patterns over long periods. Snorts. Without it, storms could swing wildly in strength and location. One year a region could face endless rain, the next year extreme drought. Crops might fail unpredictably. Animals might not know when to breed or migrate. Life thrives on patterns, and the moon keeps those patterns steady. Now imagine early Earth before the moon. It was a molten, chaotic world. Volcanoes spewed lava. The surface cooled in patches. Oceans formed and evaporated repeatedly. Then came the giant impact. A planet-sized object collided with Earth, throwing massive amounts of debris into space. Over time, this debris clumped together to form the moon. That crash could have destroyed everything, but it also gave Earth stability. It helped cool the planet enough for oceans to survive. It created tides, slowed the spin slightly, and steadied the tilt. Life might never have begun without that moment. Even the days themselves are shaped by the moon. Right now, Earth rotates once every 24 hours. That rhythm is crucial for life. Back in the distant past, a day was only 6 hours long. The sun would rise and set so quickly, plants would barely get enough light to grow. Animals would have to sleep, hunt, and feed in frantic cycles, trying to keep up. The moon's gentle gravitational pull slowed the spin, stretching days over millions of years to the pace life can manage. Without it, life might still exist, but it would be far more fragile and chaotic. The moon also helps protect Earth from deadly threats from space. Asteroids and meteors travel at incredible speeds, some big enough to wipe out entire ecosystems. The moon floating nearby takes the hits that might have landed on Earth. Billions of years of impacts have scarred its surface. Every crater is a reminder of what could have struck our planet. Without the moon, Earth would have faced far more disasters, and complex life might not have survived to evolve into the creatures we see today. Even the Earth's magnetic field is influenced by the moon. The molten core of the planet spins and generates this field. It acts as a shield, protecting us from solar radiation that could fry the surface. The moon's pull stabilizes Earth's spin, keeping the magnetic field strong. Without it, solar winds might weaken the field. Life on the surface could be exposed to harmful radiation. Every breath we take, every cell in our body relies on that quiet protection. Think about the moon's light. Nighttime is soft and illuminated, not pitch black. Animals use this light to navigate. Owls hunt silently in the night. Wolves track prey carefully. Sea turtles find the ocean when they hatch. Even humans in ancient times relied on moonlight to move safely at night. Without the moon, darkness would dominate the night, forcing life to adapt in drastic ways. Predators would struggle to find food, and prey could lose their hiding advantage. Life would need to adjust, or many species might disappear. Now imagine how the moon affects migration. Birds, whales, and countless other species rely on predictable patterns in light, tides, and seasons to navigate thousands of miles. The moon's influence on tides and illumination gives them markers to guide their journeys. Without the moon, these patterns would be disrupted. Many species could become lost, starving, or unable to reproduce. Life depends on these tiny, steady signals. Even the simplest forms of life, like plankton or small fish, rely on the moon. Tidal movement spreads them through the oceans. Nutrients mix and reach places they wouldn't otherwise. Food chains start with these tiny movements. Without the moon, the base of the food chain could collapse, affecting everything above it, including humans. Back in the earliest days of life, the moon shaped evolution itself. The gentle cycles of light, the tides, the stable days and seasons all created predictable environments for life to develop. Plants learned to grow in rhythm with the sun and tides. Animals adapted to hunt, breed, and rest in these patterns. Life became complex because the environment was predictable enough to allow it. Remove the moon and those rhythms break. Chaos becomes the norm, making complex life far less likely to survive. Even human life is influenced by the moon, though we often forget it. Our ancestors tracked its cycles to plant crops, hunt, and organize communities. Calendars were based on the moon. Festivals, traditions, and navigation relied on its presence. Its disappearance would have forced early humans to reinvent basic survival strategies. We may not feel the moon's pull directly today, but without it, our entire species might have had a very different history. Consider Earth's rotation again. The moon's braking effect not only lengthens days, but also prevents extreme wobbling. Imagine a top spinning uncontrollably. It would fall over quickly. Without the moon, Earth's wobble could swing drastically, causing unpredictable climate shifts. One year might have a summer that scorches everything, and the next winter could freeze entire regions. Life would have to adapt continuously or perish. The moon also acts as a stabilizing anchor in a chaotic solar system. Other planets pull gravitationally on Earth. The moon's presence balances those forces. Without it, Earth's orbit could vary more over time. Seasons, tides, and even the path of the sun in the sky could change slowly but drastically over centuries. Life evolves slowly, so any long-term instability makes survival harder. Even the small details matter. Many nocturnal animals time their hunting and feeding around moonlight. Certain plants rely on tides to release seeds. Fish spawn according to the rising and falling waters. These tiny cycles build up into the ecosystems we see today. Without the moon, the entire web of life would shift in ways that are hard to imagine, with some species disappearing and others struggling to survive. The moon shapes Earth more than most people realize. It's not just decoration in the night sky. It stabilizes the tilt, slows the spin, powers tides, protects from asteroids, shields from radiation, lights the night, and guides countless species. Life depends on it in ways we rarely notice. Without it, Earth would be a harsher, more unpredictable place. And yet, the moon is quiet. It doesn't scream or force itself into our attention. It just orbits steadily, influencing everything below. Every ocean wave, every season, every animal behavior, even human history relies on it in some way. It is the silent, constant guardian of our planet. Think about it tonight when you look up. That glowing rock in the sky seems small, but it carries an enormous responsibility. Without the moon, Earth would wobble, days would race by, tides would shrink, Oceans would stagnate, nights would be pitch black, and life would face unimaginable challenges. The moon is small in size, but massive in impact. Every breath, every ocean current, every season we enjoy depends on it. Now let's dive deeper into the oceans, where the moon's influence is even more powerful than we might think. The tides, the currents, and the tiniest creatures all rely on its pull. Life in the water has been shaped by the moon for millions of years, and without it, things would look very different. The oceans are alive in ways we often overlook. They are not just water. They are highways, homes, and food sources for countless creatures. The moon's pole moves them in steady patterns, shaping currents that carry life across the globe. These currents spread tiny organisms called plankton. Plankton might seem insignificant, but they are the base of almost every food chain in the ocean. Fish feed on them. Birds feed on the fish. Even humans rely on this chain for food. Remove the moon, and this movement slows. Currents become sluggish. Nutrients stay trapped in one area. Some regions may even become low in oxygen, turning into dead zones where nothing can survive. Coral reefs, for example, depend on the constant motion of the ocean. Nutrients and oxygen flow through them because the tides mix the water. Without the moon, many reefs could collapse. Entire ecosystems built around them would unravel. Fish populations would decline. Predators like sharks and dolphins would lose their food. Even species on land, like birds that feed on fish, would be affected. The moon may seem distant and quiet, but its effect reaches every corner of the oceans and beyond. Marine life isn't the only thing shaped by tides. Coastal wetlands also rely on regular flooding and draining. These areas are nurseries for young fish and crustaceans. They filter water and protect the land from storms. Without the moon, tides would weaken. Wetlands could shrink or disappear. Young marine animals might die before they can grow. Floods and storms might hit the coast more severely because there's less natural water buffering. Life would be under constant stress. Now think about the moon's role in slowing Earth's spin. This isn't just about the length of a day. A slower spin gives life time to adjust. Plants can photosynthesize longer each day. Animals can hunt, rest, and reproduce on a reliable schedule. In the distant past, when days were shorter, life evolved under rapid cycles of light and dark. Those early species had to adapt to fast sunrises and sunsets. As the moon slowed Earth over millions of years, it gave ecosystems the chance to stabilize. New species could emerge and survive. Complex life might never have existed if days had remained too short for adaptation. The moon's influence extends even further to Earth's magnetic field. This invisible shield surrounds the planet and blocks dangerous radiation from the sun. Without it, life would be exposed to deadly solar winds. The moon stabilizes Earth's spin enough to keep the magnetic field strong. If the moon weren't there, the field could weaken or fluctuate. Radiation would strike the surface more frequently, mutating or killing life. Ancient microbes that eventually gave rise to all life today might not have survived without this protection. Even humans owe their very existence to this quiet cosmic guardian. Now imagine extreme what-if scenarios. What if the moon disappeared overnight? The first thing would be chaos in the oceans. Tides would shrink dramatically. Coastal ecosystems would collapse. Fish would struggle to reproduce. Birds would lose a major food source. Wetlands and estuaries would dry out. Storms might become more unpredictable, hitting coasts with greater force.